It is time now for our political insiders, Democratic strategist Tony May, Republican strategist Charlie Giroux. Thank you, gentlemen, both for being here tonight.
Let's start with this so-called castle doctrine. It's actually the stand your ground bill. It was overwhelmingly passed, Tony, by the House, sent on to the governor. Do you think he'll sign it?
I think, given the fact that he's a lame duck, he can do what he wants without retribution at the ballot box. He'll veto it. And I think a lot of the men and women who voted for it from the urban areas were hoping that he's going to veto it. They're expecting him to veto it.
Now, this is attached to mostly Megan's Law and the Castle Doctrine. We heard from Governor Rendell in our 5 o'clock half hour that we have enough crime as it is, and this might just spark a little bit more. Does that signify?
This is to protect law-abiding citizens against vicious criminals. Tony's probably right. The governor may try to make a political statement here and veto the bill. Ultimately, there's either enough votes to override his veto or enough votes to pass it immediately after the legislature returns in January. Governor-elect Tom Corbett would sign that bill. It's a good piece of legislation for law-abiding citizens, bad piece of legislation for criminals.
All right, let's move on now to a commuter tax. Senator Piccola and Representative Marsico, they're seeking to block this. It would be a tax essentially for people who don't live in Harrisburg but who commute here. Why would they want to block this? We heard from Mayor Thompson. She says we need the money. Harrisburg needs this money.
Well, Harrisburg needs money, but commuter taxes don't work. The city of Philadelphia has had a wage tax for quote-unquote commuters for a long time. Doesn't work, drives businesses out of the city, and ultimately hollows out the urban cores that are so essential to economic growth, and in Harrisburg's case, to the region's economy. Taxes don't help. They drive down economic growth and economic development. A commuter tax is not the way for Harrisburg to raise the funds that they need.
Let me ask Tony, can they do this? I mean, they both commute.
Well, as a matter of fact, they're going to be beneficiaries of the bill. It makes it kind of dubious that they're introducing it. My major complaint about this bill at this time is this bill is dead. These fiscal conservatives have introduced a piece of legislation, gone through the process of having the Legislative Reference Bureau draft it, kill a tree or two to print it up. For what purpose? It's not going to go anywhere.
Well, the city is not even in Act 47.
Well, and the term this term of the General Assembly is over at the end of the month.
And those who work in Harrisburg are essentially already taxed, bringing in a couple million to the city of Harrisburg anyway.
Well, yeah, but as we said before, Tanya, commuter taxes have a really negative impact on the cities that levy them, because ultimately businesses say, we won't have commuters anymore.
Right.
We'll move our business out to the suburbs and let people go right to where they closer to where they live.
But the state is taking terrible advantage of the city of Harrisburg. All this tax-exempt property, they're not paying real estate taxes on the major factory that provides employment. The employees that come in use the services of the city. They expect it to be clean. They expect it to be safe. We don't pay enough for fire protection to the city of Harrisburg.
Well, then the state government ought to increase its contribution to the city. They do make a pretty significant contribution.
Senator Piccola represents the city of Harrisburg, so I don't know what's going on here.
All right, well, let's move on, because we had the governor on Face the State this past weekend. He was anxious to get his hands on the pension bill that the House did pass, took care of that business. Is it going to be enough to really help with the budget?
It's a help. The pension crisis is a looming crisis, Rob, and it really hits in a couple of years. This is a good step in the right direction, but it doesn't fill the hole.
Tony, you think it's...
Well, it is, as Darrell Metcalf, a conservative in the House, says, it's a step in the right direction. I will agree with him. It's not the final step. It does roll back benefits for new hires to the pre-pension grab levels. I think it's a good bill, and it smooths out the amount of money the state will have to pay over a number of years, but we'll still be paying 25% of each employee's pay if we don't do something long-term, or if the market doesn't turn around. If the market turns around, this may go away.
Does it do Corbett a favor?
It does a small favor for Governor-elect Corbett, but again, this is just an incremental step. There's a lot to be done on the pension side. The market alone won't solve all the problems. It would surely help.
Right. All right, Charlie Giroux, Tony May, gentlemen, thank you as always for being here, and you can catch our political insiders every Tuesday right here on CBS 21 News at 5:30.
And for all